Hi everyone, Katerina here. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I'm going to show you how I made this gorgeous easel card. It's almost like I think it's called like a 10th fold easel card even. I really love how this card turned out. To make the card I used the goodies from Simple Cards and Papercrafts magazine, and this is issue 240. And these are the gorgeous daffodils, dreamy daffodils they are called. So this issue came with a whole lot of papers as well, and these are the papers that I used to decorate this card. Now the stamp that I used was this one in here. It has this frame around it, but I didn't want to have that. Now I kind of was racking my head on what way to do this. I knew I couldn't stamp it in black ink because then I wouldn't be able to cut it with a little white border around it. I would need to cut right onto the flower petals. You can see how it how the frame meets with the flowers every now and again. So I was flipping through the magazine just to look for some inspiration, and I find this card in here on number 13 where they explain to stamp it in Versamark ink and then add black embossing powder to it, and then just very gently with a thin brush away from all the black embossing powder that you don't need. Now it was quite a process, I have to say, because I do not like to use black embossing powder on anything like this. When I do that, it gets quite splattering. I will be able to show it to you on here. Do you see how all those splatters and everywhere? I think it's just quite messy. However, when I ended up making this, I actually like that look about this. I think it just adds to, it's almost like adds a little bit of a texture to the flowers. I absolutely loved it on this project. There were other images throughout the years of my crafting that I would have thrown away because of black embossing powder, but I really loved how this one turned out. I mean, it's not perfect. I'm not a coloring artist, as I always say, but I love how this image turned out. Both actually, for both cards. Now I used coloring pencils this time to color these in, and these are the Black Widow coloring pencils. Okay, so I have had these for quite a while now, but I barely ever used them. So what I'm going to show you is what colors I used to color in these images, and I just used really basic coloring. So for the yellow ones I used light yellow lemonade and yellow sand. For the orange in the middle I used toadstool and pumpkin. For the green ones, the leaves and the stems, I used green grass and fang green. So I think the colors of these pencils are absolutely gorgeous. I wish I'd used them more in the past, but I definitely will make more effort in the future. I think they are nice, vibrant, really beautiful colors. So this is the image that I'm going to be using to create a card like this. So the cardstock is just basic white cardstock I use for the card base. The pattern paper is from the magazine, and I'm using acetate in here. Can you see how it's embossed? And the embossing folder that I used to create that look is the shattered glass. Was it shattered glass or broken glass? I can't remember because I can't find a package of this. But this is by Meet to Surprise, and I got this from Craft Stash quite a while ago, so I'm not sure if it's still available. But I absolutely love the look it gave to this acetate piece. So the only thing I'm going to change for this card is using gold glitter cardstock instead of the gold mirror for this one. Okay, for the card base we will need 2 pieces of cardstock. One of them will measure 6 by 6.5, and this one we are going to score down at 6 inches on the 6.5 side. Okay, and the other piece of cardstock measures 6 inches by 7.5, and at 6 inches on the 7.5 side just score down at 6. Okay, now just fold and burnish these score lines. Okay, so we take the larger piece And on the bottom bit, so not on the top where the 1.5 inch flap is, but on the bottom bit we are going to attach to that 1/2 inch of a tab there. Okay, so this is going to be the base of our cardstock, and this here is going to be the top where we are going to attach our acetate to. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to take one of these here, and I'm gonna give you the measurements. For the gold glitter I used 5 7/8 by 1 3/8, and for the purple polka dot one I used 5 3/4 by 1 1/4. And I have 2 of these spaces. Okay, so I'm just going to take my cola glue and glue one of these on top of the flap on the top of the card, making sure I'm leaving kind of an equal border in there. And now I have another piece of white cardstock that measures exactly the same as this flap here, so 1.5 by 6 inches. I'm going to take my other piece of layered up decorative cardstocks. I'm going to glue this on top. So I've cut my piece of cardstock, piece of acetate to 6 inches by whatever the length of it was, I think 5 inches. It really doesn't matter because I will be gluing these 2 flaps on top of it just like so. Okay, and then I have 2 pieces of white cardstock cut, which I will be adding to cover up this bit in here. Even though you won't see it when you're opening the card, I think it's just still nice to conceal that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a bit of a red tape onto the 2 edges of this acetate. And I'm also going to add the acetate onto the very top bit of this flap. And on one side of this, it doesn't matter which one, because the paper is not directional. If you're using directional paper in here for decorating, make sure you're adding this to the top bit. So I will just remove this backing and this one. And now I'm just making sure when I'm lining this up, I'm lining it just a bit. And I'm just kind of making sure that this is all in the middle-ish. As I said, it really doesn't matter because we will be covering up the inside too. So now I'm going to fold this on top, just like so. And I will be gluing this in here. And now I remove the backing there and there. And now now when I'm going to line this up, see where the card folds? I don't want to butt this against the score line. I want to pull it up a bit, okay? So this flap will be a bit smaller than 6 by 6 inches. The reason for that is, so whenever I'm going to close the card, this here will fold over it, no problem. If I pull this line, butt it against that score line, this would be bulking too much and it would create a bowl just like that. So what I'm going to do, I have 2 pieces of cardstock here that measure just a tiny bit under 6 by 1.5, so 1/16 of an inch under 6. Okay, so it's just that bit smaller so it won't overhang. And I'm now that's it. It's nice and tidy looking now. You can see the acetate trapped between the two, and it gives it strength as well. Okay, so it's nice and strong now, so it can stand up just like this. It's kind of hard to show from this angle, but this is how it will stand. So to decorate the bottom of the card, I'm using my gold glitter cardstock that measures 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, and the green. Okay, so I've cut out with the inverted scallop dies from Craft Stash, and this is one of the smallest ones, and this one is 1¼ of an inch of that yellow mustardy colored kind of polka dots, and I've cut it out of a yellow cardstock as well, and I added them with coral glue so it's nice and sturdy. Now I'm going to peel this back and add 2 layers of foam and a little bit of glue, and I'm adding it. I'm just watching, I'm looking where did I add it on this other one, and it's in around here. Okay, so just below the midline, somewhere in there, and this is going to be the stopper for the front of our card. I think it looks so cute already. I love the purple with these yellow ones. So what we have to do now is add our daffodils, just like so. To do this, I'm going to flip it round and kind of judge where the purple cardstock ends. That's where I am adding my glue only. Okay, however, I do not want this bit to be coming away from the acetate, so just with my tape runner, I'm going to add it in the middle of the bunch of the flowers and glue this on. Now, before, when I used double-sided tapes on the acetate bit and all, it showed in here, but this tape runner doesn't show through at all, okay, as if it was never there. Okay, so for the sentiment, I stamped out birthday wishes from the stamp set. On the previous card I used with love. It's this one in here. I think they are lovely fonts. That with love is especially one of my favorites, definitely. Okay, so I'm just going to add it in here somewhere. I've colored in this little daffodil as well, which I'm going to glue onto the base, just like that. I think it's just missing that little bit of a flower in there as well, like so. And then I will cut the excess away. Just snip with my scissors. Okay, so the last couple of things I want to add, one of them is this little tiny bow that I made using yellow and white baker's twine, just with a tiny bit of hot glue. And then I have these gold sequins that I want to add a few of. Going to add a couple in here and fill in the middle with the glossy accents again. When that dries nice and clear, it will look amazing. And again, a couple in here. Again, I'm not worried about what way this will look because the glossy accents will dry nice and clear. It's almost like glass kind of look, so it will not show at all. And I'm filling in the middle of the sequence, and I'm gonna add one more in here. Just like so. Oh, good. I think that's all done. Now obviously those sequins will have to dry with the glossy accents on them, but this is the look of the card that you would get, and when it dries I will take pictures and I will add them to the end of this video. So it's such a lovely card. I really love it. I'm gonna show you this other one because I don't want to be moving this too much, but once the glossy accent dries, it's quite fuzzy and milky looking there. It will just add that lovely dimension in the middle of those sequins. I hope you can pick that up. So it's such a lovely card. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you did, please give me the thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet done so. I am bringing you more and more beautiful tutorials yet, and until the next time, bye!